A report from Deadline reveals that Marvel is currently in talks with Jake Schreier to direct the new X-Men movie. They had a meeting last week to discuss this, and Marvel is apparently really happy with the performance of Thunderbolts critically. It has been the highest rated movie since No Way Home, which released all the way back in 2021, and has helped restore faith in Marvel Studios from the fans. So it would be a safe bet for Marvel to go with this director, because it's really crucial that they nail reintroducing the X-Men into the MCU. For me personally, it was the first MCU movie in a while that I've got to see that has made me care about the characters outside of the original lineup that we saw in phases 1 to 3. And I think that's a really good thing as well, because a major complaint about the original X-Men movies from the 2000s was that they focused too much on Wolverine and didn't bother to flesh out the other X-Men characters like Cyclops or Jean Grey. So I think Schreier will do a good job in making sure the audience actually care about the X-Men team and not just one major player. One thing I really liked about Thunderbolts was the actual dynamic within the team as well, showing how all the different personalities clashed with one another, but also how they could all relate with one another as well, since they all had their own tragic backstories that they could all relate to. It wasn't too long ago that we got the announcement of the Avengers Doomsday cast lineup, which actually does include some of the original X-Men characters from that original trilogy. But I don't think this movie would have any involvement with them, because I do believe this will be a reboot of the entire X-Men franchise as a whole, as it will be set after the events of Avengers Secret Wars. If there was a character in the X-Men universe that I could see carrying over after the events of Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars, it would maybe be Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, but even then, it depends on if he wants to keep on playing the character, but he's not shown any lack of interest in playing the character at this moment. You've also got Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, but with Hugh Jackman's age, I do think, well, he did come to the end of playing the character in Logan, but then he came back for Deadpool and Wolverine. But I feel like that was more sort of a favour to Ryan Reynolds and a favour to the fans, because we've all been wanting to see that team up for such a long time now. So I think what they'll do, they'll bring back all these original X-Men characters and have them interact with the original MCU Avengers lineup as well, because we have Robert Downey Jr. returning in the film as Doctor Doom, yes, but I do see them bringing him back as Iron Man as well, along with Chris Evans' Captain America, maybe Mark Ruffalo's Hulk, but as normal Hulk and not the terrible Professor Hulk that we've got recently. When all these movies were happening, even with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, and Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, we wanted these versions of the characters to be interacting with one another. Similar to what Infinity War and Endgame were, but on a more multiversal plane, but they'll bring all these characters to interact with one another as a thank you to the fans, and also it's a guaranteed way to make them a load of money, but just so they can close the book on that and not have any what if so-and-so interact with one another, so they can start with a whole new clean slate with this new reboot and start from scratch. Which does bring the question again then as well, will they recast key Marvel characters like Iron Man, Captain America, and bring them back with new actors? It is tough to know, because there is 4-5 which is currently being rumoured in development, and we know that Tom Holland's Spider-Man will be staying on as well, because he's got his new trilogy coming out. So maybe it'll be the case where some actors come back after the timeline reset of Avengers Secret Wars and Avengers Doomsday, but I reckon there'll be more recast than more characters coming back. But anyway, we're getting off topic now. The rumored castings for the potential X-Men reboot would be Harris Dickinson as Cyclops, Sadie Sink as Jean Grey, Margaret Qualley as Rogue, and Julia Butters as Kitty Pryde, and Jesse Plemons as Beast. I probably butchered a few of those names, so I do apologise for that. And the potential release date for the film could possibly be July 23rd, 2027 or November 5th, 2027. These are two release dates Marvel have added to their calendar, so we could expect one of those two to be the dates for this new X-Men film. And since Marvel is so close to selecting a new director for this movie, it's highly possible we may get some more news about the film at San Diego Comic-Con. Very unlikely though, because we do have Secret Wars and Avengers Doomsday we need to get news about, a new trailer, more cast announcements and everything. So I feel like we may get a few nuggets here and there. Maybe an announcement of who the director will be, if it is going to be Jake Schreier, and a confirmation on the release date as well. But it is going to be exciting to finally see the X-Men make their way into the MCU, because it was all the way back in 2019, 2018, roughly around about then, when Disney bought out Fox and got the rights to the X-Men characters, and we haven't really seen them make use of those characters outside of a couple cameos and post-credit scenes, such as Professor X in Multiverse of Madness, Beast at the end of the Marvels, and as well as Deadpool and Wolverine, which came out last year, which featured a lot of, actually not a lot of original X-Men characters, more so original Fox characters like Elektra and Blade. They also reintroduced, well not reintroduced, actually finally introduced Channing Tatum's Gambit into the movie, which was a major fan favorite, so that's another question as well. Will Channing Tatum's Gambit be a part of the X-Men reboot, or will they recast that role as well? But nonetheless, all we can do right now is speculate about what the future of the MCU and the X-Men will hold. Be sure to let me know in the comments below what you guys think, and I'll see you all in the next one.